And welcome back to this week's edition of the Steel Report. As you can see, I have someone who's not a stranger to KWWL television, Pastor Quovadis Marshall, Pastor Q of Hope City Church. In fact, his program always on Sunday mornings at 10:30, right after the latest edition, Pastor, of the Steel Report. And of course, you're in here this week because it's almost Christmas time.
Yep.
You have your services coming up, and I always like to get your perspective about what's going on in the world right now.
Yep.
And here we have the holiday coming up. What's your message going to be this year?
Yeah, the thing I love about Christmas, it's one of those holidays that's tried and true, even for those who don't have a strong faith tradition. Everything changes around Christmas time. The music's playing, Coco's going, and hopefully we're drawing near to, as we like to say, the reason for the season. So the message of Christmas stays the same, even though our world changes. And this year, really, it really connects to what's happening at these kind of cultural flashpoints with stuff over in the Middle East, stuff happening at home with the economy and presidencies and just a lot of uproar. The good news is in the midst of the uproar, God sends his son, Emmanuel, God with us. He gets right in the muck and the mire of it all.
It is incredible. You talk about the tradition, and things do seem to change around Christmas time, but for a lot of people, Christmas is not a joyous time. And what do you tell the people that kind of come to you and say, you know, I'm really not in a very good holiday mood right now? What do you say to them? You know?
Yeah, again, I get that. My mother passed almost 11 years ago, around this time of year in December. And so for me, it's got a little bitter with the sweet. You know, my kids are opening presents. Things are amazing at home, but there's someone missing. A lot of people know that. Some people have gotten medical diagnosis here locally, 100 jobs, right before the holiday season.
Exactly.
People are hurting. And again, the message is the same. Here's what I know, is that you can trust an unknown future to an all-knowing God. And when the baby was born in the manger, the angel said, hey, his name's gonna be called Emmanuel, which means God with us. It's not God remove me from the situation, it's God be with me in it. And that's the story of the Bible. God doesn't say, believe in me and I'll whisk all of your problems away. He says, no, I'll give you the strength you need to sustain yourself through the difficulty. And number two, I'll bring something beautiful out of what's broken. Just give me room and give me time to work.
You mentioned your mom dying, and I know you lost your father in recent years too. When the mother dies, they're usually the heart of the family, and for some families, the Christmas time is never the same. Someone else needs to come forward and take over, don't they? Almost.
They do. Yeah, it's that way in our home.
Yeah, mine too. Yes.
You know, no one can cook stuffing the way my mom cooked stuffing. You know, there's just something about moms. No one's gonna ever love you more than your mom, right? and we definitely miss ours. Funny, Ron, as a church looking at some of the events leading up to Christmas, and this woman named Ruth, she's got this story where her mother-in-law, she meets her, and all of the husbands die, and the mother-in-law is just overwhelmed. She's so overwhelmed with grief. She lost her husband, her sons, and she finds new purpose in her daughter-in-law, in helping her life become better than the current brokenness she saw. And so this Christmas season, here's my hope, here's my prayer for those of us who have one less seat filled at our table, that we could look around at what we do have. We could maybe whisper out, mutter a prayer of thanks, and ask God to give us the strength to keep going and to see his blessing even in the midst of the hardship.
You know, you talk about your sermons are very powerful. If you've watched them on KWWL, really enjoy listening to them. Your services will take place this year for Christmas. I have to admit, Pastor Q gets a little bit of an advantage because he is programmed. Let's face it does air on KWWL, so you can have the built-in advantage. But when are your services?
Yeah, it was still so funny. So we've got 10 services across 2 of our campuses.
Wow.
Our Waterloo campus, which is located at 118 High Street, right next to East High School. We've got services on the 22nd of December at 9:15 and 11, and then we'll have 3 more services on Christmas Eve at 3:30 and 5. And then our Cedar Falls location, which is 3712 Cedar Heights Drive, we've got 3 Sunday morning Christmas services at 8:30, 10, 11:30, and then on Christmas Eve at 3:30, 5, 6:30. They're all candlelight services. We'll have amazing children's program, and actually they can find out more on our website. If we've all been given faith, the question is, Is it a firm enough foundation to withstand all of the pressure that life will bring? And again, the offer, opportunity, invitation of Jesus is put your faith in me. He says, for I am gentle of heart and I am humble. So therefore, come to me, all of you who are weary, and I will give you rest.
I was just going to ask you, what is your message to someone who's watching here today and maybe doesn't go to church, but maybe this is your opportunity to check out a church. I'm not just saying Hope City Church, but any church. Just get in there and you might find out that your life can be changed, can't?
Yeah, I would agree, Ron. I would say there's a ton of amazing churches in the Cedar Valley. I mean, we're just so blessed in the Cedar Valley. I would say if we're sitting across the table, I would probably try to understand your life journey, probably ask where are you at and is it where you want to be? Right. And I would ask you to consider that what if God actually had wisdom and insight, practical things like with money and family and relationships and communication and work and making Mondays matter. I would say, what if I could talk to you about another way that would bring fulfillment and joy and peace and meaning and healing and wholeness? Would you be open to that? And most people are. They just don't know where to start and they don't know who or what to trust. You can Google a lot, but at the end of the day, our life is the impact and the experience of the people that we do life with. That's who's impacted us the most. And I think a healthy, life-giving, joy-filled, Bible-believing, of course, church community is probably, I'll say this last thing, 2025 will be the best year of your life, I believe, if it is the best year of your life spiritually. I think getting healthy and working on your calendar and spending time with the kids and vacationing, all that is good, but spiritual health is very, 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 very important. And if you get healthy there, you'll be surprised how that root system affects the fruit of your life.
Yeah, great point there. Life's all about timing and choices.
It is.
You know all about that.
I do.
A choice to go to church is really up to you at a time when Christianity and even some other religions are being battered by opposition, so to speak. Yeah.
They are, yeah. You know, one of the fascinating things about life today is that there are, due to the internet and other things, there's opportunity for a lot of ideas, and that's great. I like to say the truth doesn't need a defense. The truth is the truth, and the truth has stood and will stand the test of times. As it relates specifically to like Christianity, I think there's Christianity's got a little bit of a bad rap, and there's some things in the history of Christianity that isn't its best days, isn't its bright spots. I would sure hate for someone to judge all 40-year-old men based off of my decisions. And I think sometimes we see what people do and we don't give God a second chance. And I think if people would just give him a chance, they would see he is far better than what they've ever been told. And life can be far greater than they ever could have imagined.
Real quickly before we go here, talk to someone who's sitting at home and may not want to go to church. What's your message to them about making that decision, whether they go or not? It's really their choice.
It really is. Yeah, I would say faith is a big step. It's a step. One of my friends, he's a pastor here. He calls it stepping over the faith line. Pastor John Fuller. I would say, thank you for considering. Number one. Number two, I would say give it a chance and a try. Just start there. You're not committing the rest of your life. I would say we would love to have you at Hope City Church. What we like to say is it's a family and it's a safe place for you to be seen, known, and loved just as you are. That would be number one. Give it a try. Number two, I've been where you're at. I wasn't raised in church, didn't grow up in a Christian home. I didn't like Christians, quite honestly. I just didn't get it, it didn't click. But I found someone that I could trust. And slowly but surely, I saw how God had been there the whole time. And it would be an honor. It would be a complete honor if you would let us walk with you and your family. Maybe this Christmas season, make that your first step. Join us at one of our locations or watch online even. And we would love to get to know you and do life with you.
All right, Pastor Q, thanks very much as always. Have a great holiday.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate that. In fact, his program from the church itself will be coming up here in just a moment. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for a new edition of the Steel Report.